Aquarius, welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your monthly horoscope overview for the month of October 2021. But before we begin, I request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. And I do daily video horoscopes, weekly video horoscopes, and monthly sun rising sign video horoscopes. And you can watch all those on my YouTube channel. Alright, so let's talk about what's happening in the month of October, Aquarius. And before that, this reading is for Aquarius rising and Aquarius sun. I would recommend watching your rising sign and then your sun sign. And as we enter the month of October, Aquarius, we have Mercury retrograde, which means that in the month of October, the beginning is not the best time to sign new contracts, start new things, gadgets can malfunction, communication slows down. So all these things can happen. I just thought I'd give you a heads up. And another thing about October, Aquarius, is that it is a month where a lot of planets will start to go direct. Now, since April, one by one, the planets started to go retrograde, which meant the forward movement slowed down. It became slow, 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 slower, slower, slowest. And retrogrades are also a period of review and receiving karma. But now in October, the planets will begin to go direct, which means the pace will pick up again, the forward movement will begin again, and the active creation of karma will begin again. So now let's talk about what's happening in the month of October for you, Aquarius. Now, the first important thing happens on October 6th, and that is the new moon in the sign of Libra at 13 degrees, which puts it in your 9th house. Now, a new moon is a moment where we seed something that we will work on for the whole month. And for you, this is connected to the 9th house of higher education, wisdom, knowledge, foreign travel. Maybe you're planting a seed connected to these things, and you'll work on those for the next month. So it could be that you begin to learn something, because it's also knowledge and wisdom, right? Or it could be that if you had plans for traveling, maybe you start to plan again, things like that. And then on the same day, Aquarius, we have Pluto going direct. Now, Pluto is the planet of our psychology. It rules our subconscious mind, and Pluto wants transformation. And Pluto has been in your 12th house for quite some time. And in your 12th house, it is basically asking you to transform your subconscious mind. It's asking you to transform your spirituality. And 12th house is also where the past closes out, and Pluto is the planet of endings. So it could be that you're closing out the past, especially in your mind, in very powerful ways. And since April, that active process connected to Pluto kind of slowed down, right? It was more of a review, it was more of the rewards for the work you already put in before April. But now Pluto will go direct again, asking you to work on these things, work on your mind, your subconscious mind, on closing out the past, on your spirituality. And if drugs, delusions, addictions, depression apply to you, then that's the domain of the 12th house as well. And Pluto might be asking you to work on that again as well. And then on October 7th, Aquarius, we have Venus changing signs. Now, Venus has been in your 10th house until October 7th, and Venus is a benefic. It gives gifts and blessings and even brings with it rewards. So up until October 7th, you could have become more receptive to your career, or you received a gift or a blessing when it came to your career or business. But now it's going to move into your 11th house and give you blessings and make you more receptive to your social circle, the groups that you belong to, the organizations that you're a part of, your hopes, goals, and dreams, and science, tech, and innovation, if that applies to you. Then moving on to October 10th, Aquarius, we have Saturn going direct. Saturn is in your sign, and if you really want to know what these planets mean, the longer term planets, things like Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, what they mean for you, you can watch my long term rising sign video for your sign, Aquarius, which is already on YouTube, and that video breaks down all these energies for you in detail. But very quick, Saturn wants us to work hard, right? It wants us to put things in order, and Saturn in your sign, in your first house, is asking you to work on you, your identity, who you are, how you present yourself to the world, how the world sees you. So this could be a moment where you really change up your identity, especially since December of 2020. And this will continue till at least 2023. And That's what Saturn is doing in your first house, asking you to work on your identity and put that in order, so to speak. And for a few months now, that process was slow, right? It was more of a review of all the work you put in before Saturn went retrograde. I think it went retrograde in May, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, but now Saturn goes direct and the active work in creating your identity begins again. So that's Saturn for you. And before that, Aquarius, Saturn was in your 12th house, right? Which meant that you closed out a lot of the past till 2020 December, a lot of the past. And now Pluto is still, so Pluto is helping you close more and more of the past. Anyway, moving on to October 12th, we have the first quarter square of the moon. Now, this is a moment where the sun and the moon make their first 90-degree angle after the new moon. And this is a moment where the whole week is about making adjustments and changes connected to the new beginning. On October 6th, in your 9th house of foreign travel, higher education, all those things. So it could be that this week, maybe you wanted to travel abroad, 9th house, right? You started to create a plan, but then you realized, hey, I need the visas, I need to take time out, it's going to cost X amount. Let's figure this out. So that kind of energy. And then on October 18th, we have Jupiter going direct. Now, Jupiter is the most benefic planet. It gives gifts and rewards and healing and even brings with it lessons. And Jupiter is in your first house, Aquarius, giving you gifts and blessings to your identity, to who you are, and even lessons connected to who you are. But for the past few months, that process slowed down, but now it will begin again. The rewards will begin again, the gifts will begin again, and even the lessons connected to your identity, who you are, your leadership will begin again. And on the same day, Aquarius, Mercury comes out of retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde, as I mentioned, is a period where gadgets can malfunction, communication slows down. It's not the best time to start new things or sign new contracts. And for you specifically, it retrograded in your 9th house, means it asked you to review your 9th house. Foreign travel, knowledge, wisdom, higher education, these are the areas that Mercury asked you to revisit and review and reprocess. And then on October 20th, we have the full moon in Aries. Now, the full moon in Aries is happening at 27 degrees, which puts it in your 3rd and 9th house axis, right? So this full moon will highlight your 3rd house and 9th house. It'll highlight your logical mind, your thinking, your communication, your peer group, your siblings on one hand, and on the other hand, the 9th house, foreign travel, higher education, your belief system, knowledge, wisdom, all 9th house things. So that's what this full moon is going to bring to light. And this full moon will also help you understand what you seeded on the new moon on October 6th. What did you begin then? What did you plant on October 6th connected to foreign travel, higher education, knowledge, wisdom, all 9th house things? But the most important thing this full moon is going to do is that it is going to help us make sense of and fully step into the new energy that came into our lives with the new moon in Aries in April of 2021. We had a new moon in Aries in April of 2021, and that brought in a lot of new energy, a new life, so to speak. And this is the full moon, which means it's the culmination point. It's the point of clarity of that new beginning, of that new energy. So with this full moon, you'll be able to understand, okay, hey, this is what I started in April, and now I see it better. Okay, this is what I planted back then, and now I've seen it grow a little bit. Okay, that's how my life changed in April. Now it makes sense. Things like that. And then on October 23rd, Aquarius, we have the sun changing signs. It's going to leave your 9th house and enter your 10th house. Now the sun illuminates any part of your chart it's in, and for the past till October 23rd, it is going to illuminate your 9th house of higher wisdom, knowledge, foreign travel, higher education. But after that, Aquarius, on October 23rd, for the next 30 days, it is going to highlight and illuminate your 10th house of business and career. And then on October 28th, we have the last quarter square of the moon. Now, this is a point where the sun and the moon make their last 90-degree angle before the new moon on November 4th. And this is a point where the whole week's energy till November 4th is going to be about release and letting go of the new beginning you had on October 6th in your 9th house of higher education, foreign travel, publishing, wisdom, knowledge, all those things. So this week you're assessing what about that beginning stays, what about that beginning goes. And it could very well be an emotional release connected to matters of the 9th house. Maybe some emotion connected to higher education you're letting go of. Things like that. And then on October 30th, Aquarius, we have Mars changing signs. Now, Mars is an energizer. It reinvigorates any part of the chart it's in. And Mars enters a particular sign, which means a particular house, almost after 2 years. So, up until October 30th, it is going to be re-energizing and reinvigorating your 9th house of foreign travel, higher education, knowledge, wisdom, all these things. So, it could be maybe in the past 2 years or so, you haven't been able to work on higher education. You wanted to, but it hasn't happened. But Mars may come in and say, hey, let's make it happen now. So anything connected to the 9th house. And then on October 30th, it's going to enter your 10th house and re-energize and reinvigorate your 10th house of business and career. Maybe in the past 2 years or so, your business or career hasn't been the way you wanted it to be, or maybe some part of it that you wanted to work on hasn't happened. But Mars may come in and say, hey, you wanted to make this happen, let's do it now. See, Mars is action. Wherever Mars is, that's where we take action and make things happen. So that's what the energy is. And that's pretty much it, Aquarius. And October is a month, to sum it up, where we will see a lot of forward movement begin again. Forward movement that has slowed down since April, and as we enter October, it's at its slowest. But in October, it will start to pick up slowly. I will pick a card for you and then we'll close it out. Let's go with the top card. Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. I think this card for you is a reminder that, Aquarius, if you are feeling challenges, if you're feeling like you're going through a lot, then maybe realize that's the best way to learn and evolve, right? It's not negative, it's a growth process, adversity. And I'm saying this because Saturn is in your sign, right? Saturn in your sign does bring hard work, right? It requires you to work hard. So if you're feeling like that, then realize that Saturn is also a planet that makes us grow. It makes us mature. So it's not a negative thing going through adversity. One more card for you. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And I think this card is again tying into Saturn and Jupiter because they are both in your first house of your identity. And this card is a lesson that you have all it takes. You have everything in your soul, everything that you need. So that's the message for you, Aquarius. I hope you have a great month, and I will see you all in one of my other videos. Bye.